This dates back to 1097.
Yeah, the community chest was set up in 1999 when I was mayor, and previous mayors have had their own charity, but we hadn't had a particular connection with an individual group or a charity. And a number of charities were contacting me saying, can we be your charity, can we do this, can we do that? But we thought a better idea to set up a community chest where the monies that we raise through the Mayor's office can be channelled to a number of charities. We managed to get a number of trustees on board, notably Bruce Vickers from Lavoy Motors, who donated a car to our first draw. Now, we then established the draw, which enabled people to sell tickets for £1 to win a car. They would keep 50p for their organisation. So, you know, it was a money raiser for them. It raised money for us, it raised money for them. We would then get that money in and distribute it when people asked for money. And we must have distributed, I think, between £250,000 to £300,000.
Setting where we are gathered to just give glory to you and just to enjoy ourselves socially. And thank you for Angela Smith, the work that she does in Thurrock and Basildon, for a commitment. Thank you for Carl and Val, who has worked so hard to make this day so successful and so great. Now we're just about to enjoy this great feast, and we just give you glory. And thank you for this house, where for many years your word has been glorified. And we just want you to bless everyone here this afternoon. Bless the food and bless everyone. May we have a good time together.
I think this is the largest dinner we've ever had here. Yes. And I think there are some thank yous to be had. Thank you to all the trustees who manage the chest, because the difference that makes to people in Thurrock in a range of different ways to enjoy your dinner in my works canteen. But I feel really privileged to work in a building that is probably one of the most recognisable historical buildings in the entire world. You just take this chest to go away with you. When you're away, you're travelling, just clock how many times you see on postcards, on pictures, on paintings, in photographs, in books, pictures and photographs. I'm fascinated by it. I've been a member of Parliament for 11 years. I worked here for 2 years before then. I worked around the place, and I worked for the League Against Full Sports before then. But I've never really lost that sense. I was at my maiden speech, 11th of June 1997, and I waited several hours. It was actually curiosity, it was on handguns. And which is, you know, think about knife crime now, that was the issue at the time. I wanted to speak, having to work in constituency on this. And as I went to go to the chamber to wait to make my speech, I phoned my friend Jane, who was going into labour with her first child. She had her baby before I got to make my speech. So great historical events have taken place here that have shaped how the world has changed, adapted, and it's changed the world of Parliament, because I've been a backbench MP when I was first elected. I then spent some time in the Whip's office. I was then a government minister in Northern Ireland for 3.5 years, and I'm still the longest serving woman minister ever in the history of time in Northern Ireland. One of the things I find in politics, you have to think about what you say, because if you say something too quickly, you get your words muddled up, you don't think it out beforehand, it can be misconstrued, it can be misunderstood. Or you might say something that doesn't quite have the meaning that you intended it to have. And just after you were elected, one of my colleagues, a lovely lady called Darry Taylor, MP for Stockton, was being interviewed on her local radio station about a month or 2 months into being a Member of Parliament. And Darry was asked what it was like being a new MP, and she spoke about this seriously, what it was involving, how she would get on the job. Of course, you're having to live away from home for part of the week as well, and that impacts on her family life. So, but Ms Taylor, what's the most difficult aspect of your job? What do you find most difficult to get to grips with? So the most difficult thing has been handling 7.5 inches of mail every morning. You would notice, you know where Andrew sits and House of Commons on that bench there. And Andrew was sitting there. Andrew's got a much better seat than me. You see, Andrew, all you ever see of me is between my navel and my knees. If anyone's watching Prime Minister's Question, those knees behind him, my knees, I really am there. My knees. But Andrew was next to Dennis Skinner on many occasions. And Cecil Parkinson said he could never really deal with Dennis Skinner in the House of Commons. Dennis keeps up a running commentary about everything. Very witty, very funny. Not normally unpleasant or nasty. No, it's witty and it's at someone's expense, but not in a nasty way. And Dennis was doing this, and Cecil Parkinson would stand at the dispatch box with his hands in his pockets. And Dennis would say, he's playing with himself. Look, he's got his hands in his pockets. He's playing with himself. And Cecil Parkinson said he never knew whether to take his hands out of his pockets or leave them in. Every department has a Lords Minister who deals with aspects of work and all the issues in the House of Lords. But if something comes up in the Commons, an MP asks a question about the work they do, one of the Commons ministers, even though they don't cover that area, obviously has to give an answer. So there was one question on the order paper, but it was all the way down, and nobody was going to get that far. We never get that far down the order paper. And I was answering for this particular minister. I didn't know at the time. So I'm sitting there, and we're racing through the questions, and hadn't prepared anything, because we don't normally get down to question 10 or 11, normally get to 5 or 6. And I stand up, I say, answer such and such, I read out the little bits there, and the MP comes back and asks the question. I turn the notes over into the file with all the information for me, and it says, information to follow. So you never know what it's like to die. As I sat down, I thought, what's next? I sat down, I sat in the Prime Minister's lap, which caused utmost embarrassment. Yes, and I made the policy up, and I got away with it. It's now policy, because I said so distracting. There are times when it has to be dull and boring, because it's serious, it matters, and it's important, it affects all of our constituents, and it affects the country as a whole. It's right that the House of Commons is sober and serious its deliberations. But there's also right that there is a time for levity and humour. I hope I've given you tonight insight into some of the humour, probably good and bad, for what it's about. But tonight, I think, is a celebration of the Thurrock Community Chest. And I think I can only end by thanking you for your time and commitment in coming along this evening, of sharing what I think is good food and good company, and making tonight a very special night. Thank you very much indeed.
Celebration of all the people who are working for the forces of good in Thurrock.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I think the people here tonight all have a contribution that they make to Thurrock. They've put money in to come tonight, which actually helps the community chest and dished out across the district for the benefit of local people. But I think really what is great, these are all people who care about Thurrock. It means something to them. And the fact they're all here tonight talking to each other, working together, will have a knock-on benefit in many different ways.
And what Carl Morris was also saying was that kind of embrace of blue sky Thurrock that was there.
Yeah, think ahead, have some vision, it's important. And I told a story about a school I went to in Northern Ireland, trying to get kids to think ahead, think of having really great hopes and ideas and aspirations, what they want to do in the future. We want to do that for Thurrock kids. We have great kids here, we want to get them their full potential. We want them to have dreams of being great.
Charity Banquet, it's probably our most successful. We've had probably about 165 people in that room who have thoroughly enjoyed the evening. They have had a fantastic evening, and we've had a fantastic speech from Angela Smith about the workings of this place and the history of it. Everybody I've spoken to has been in awe of the architecture of the building, and once again it's proved that these sort of events for the Thurrock Community Chest are real sort of money supported this year on year. It's a non-political organisation. I'm very proud of the fact that every mayor of Thurrock has been supportive, and the latest one, Councillor Everett, and also Diane Revel have been very supportive. So it's been a fantastic achievement, very proud of it. We put a lot of hard work in to make it work. We have a number of events. This is sort of a biannual charity banquet, and we also have the annual gala dinner, plus we have the annual draw, which is becoming increasingly popular with local good causes, sporting clubs, charities, and you know it's just growing year on year, and I'm very proud of that. If that were on my epitaph, I'll be very proud of it.